Welcome to Digital Asset News, the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets, and break them down to bite-sized pieces. So today, we're not talking about the news. We'd actually talked about that previously in the day. It is actually January 21st. It is 6 p.m. El Paso, Texas time. And we had talked about three stories that had led to this little dip that we are experiencing right now in the crypto market. And you can see right now, Bitcoin is below 30,000. It was at 41,000. Ethereum is just above one grand. I think it's going to go lower than that. And everything's pretty much a big sea of red. And we talked about why that potentially could be, but it really doesn't matter. What really matters is the narrative that is being pushed out there. And that narrative is that this is, cryptocurrency is going to go to the moon, and you just got to, just hold on and hodl forever, and it'll go up to $1 million, and you're going to be a billionaire tomorrow. And it's not the case. That's not it. You have to be a little smart. You have to be a little focused, and you have to have some ice in your veins. Now, hodling is great. I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time, but there's an even bigger skill. And I need to challenge you right now to really think about what you're going to do with all these gains, because the people who fail to plan are planning to fail, and that is exactly what is going to happen. So I was thinking about all these things this morning, and I was listening to one of my favorite authors and podcasters, Tim Ferriss, and he was talking here to Kevin Rose, one of his business partners, and they were talking about Bitcoin. He holds Bitcoin, and he was talking about cryptocurrency. And Kevin has been in the game for quite some time. And what Tim said was, he goes, what's interesting about crypto, he says, is that I meet a lot of people in my circle who have made a lot of money in crypto. He says, I'll always ask him, how'd you get into crypto and what happened? And people will always tell him the same story. Oh, I made like, a couple $1 million. Oh, I made it 500,000. And he says, but the question I always ask them is, well, when did you cash out? When did you, sell? Oh, I didn't sell. Oh, I still got it. So what happened? Well, I wrote it up and wrote it all the way down. Then I'm writing it back up again. And he says, very rarely does he find the person who says, yeah, I cashed out and I started a business or I did something else. And it really got me to thinking about, we talk about on this channel about where we're going, but one of the things that we don't talk enough about is to plan ahead and make sure that you have everything in a row, ducks in a row, to make sure that you are ready when the time comes. Because it's not, to me, like there's like different skills you learn. There's skills of how to invest, how to dollar cost average, how to have ice in your veins and not really care when the market takes a big, enormous dip like it did today, and really not care. But then one of the other skills that you have to learn, and that I'm learning actually myself, is how to take these profits. And if we don't, we're going to be in a world of hurt, because we're going to ride it all the way up to who knows what Bitcoin can go to, 1 million, 500,000, 150,000. It just depends. But the big thing is, when do we sell? So we're going to talk about that today in detail. So just as a quick refresher, just remember everything goes in 4-year cycles. This is January 2012. It always goes the same thing. Having to the all-time high in 2013, big enormous dip in 2014, then a big reset where everything kind of just goes sideways in 2015. Then we take a look at 2016, we had a halving. 2017 was that monstrous all-time high, then a massive dip, and then a reset in 2019. Now we turn the corner and we just got into 2021. 2020 was our halving. We're going to see an all-time high. So what we're looking at is this chart that looks something like this, and it looks enormous, but really that's not the way the chart should look. If we have to zoom out and take a look at what's going to happen over the next 4 years, and it's going to look like this. If history repeats itself over the last 8 years, 2020 was just a blip. 2021 will have massive, massive gains if history repeats itself. But then you have to remember, just a short time later, we're going to see a huge correction. It's going to be a dip and then a reset and sideways action. And you have to make sure you know what you need to do to make sure that you are not like me, which was right here, me getting in right at almost the top, around 10,000 or so, riding it up, thinking I'm a genius, and then watching it go down, and then back up a little bit and going, I'll be okay, and then just going down, 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 and then sideways. We can't do that. I don't want you to be like me and have to ride out another 4 years until you're looking at what, 2025. So that's not my goal here. My goal is to make sure that you know all the options. Now, again, this is not financial advice, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. So let's just jump in. So first of all, we have to take a look at where do we think the market's going. This is where I think it's going. I've made my price predictions. There was a video, I'll link at the very end. And these are all the price predictions for everything that I hold in my portfolio. I tell you exactly why I hold all these different crypto assets in my portfolio and what I think is going to happen with them. This was on January 7th, and Bitcoin was hot. I mean, everything was hot. You had Bitcoin at 38,000, Ethereum at 1,200, about the same. Chainlink at 17 went up and down. Everything went up and down. And then I took a look and I said, this is what the prediction is for me in 2021. And then we're going to take a look at the supply. So like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we all know Bitcoin's got 21 million. I mean, it's 18 and a half right now. Ethereum, you know, it's a limited supply. It can be fluctuate, whatever. I don't really care. Chainlink, my prediction was $35 at the end of 2021. Very conservative, I feel. I'm not a big shuckster and like, go out there and say, yeah, Bitcoin's going to do 1 million, and it's going to 1 million on April 7th at 4:30 a.m. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I make very conservative bets, I guess, very conservative calls, we'll say. So Chainlink 35, I can see that. And there's a 1 billion circulating supply or max supply. Cardano, I see it's at $3, and for 45 billion max supply and everything else. So you can watch that video, I'll link it there. And then the next two columns, I just said this is the probability. On a 0 to 10, 0 is where there's not a snowball's chance in hell it's going to happen. And 10 means I'm almost certain, or I'm 100% certain, 99.9% certain it's going to happen. And I gave those a 10. Like, so Bitcoin, my price prediction is 150K. I think it's a 10. Ethereum, I gave it an 8 for probability. And I explained exactly why. So that's not the point of this video. You can watch that video later. What it is exit strategies. And this was my old exit strategy. And the thing with exit strategies is that when I put this out, it made sense. I mean, it still is, something that people look forward to, and they say, okay, I can do this. But I needed to simplify everything. It's just like Steve Jobs says, it actually takes a lot of work to make things simple. It's actually very easy to make things complex. So you have to boil it down to the message that you want to do. So for this one, it didn't really work out too well. So here's what I did. I said, okay, I'm going to throw this away. I want to make it super simple for everybody for what I'm doing, and then I can leave it up to them. So for me, it's an 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule, if you're in business, it's an old adage, 80-20 rule. It means that 80% of all the gains or things that you actually get out of your job really comes from 20% of your effort. And it's just something that I felt like I could streamline the whole process. So the 80-20 rule for me, and we're going to start with Ethereum because it's pretty easy. So I'm going to say like this. If I had 100 Ethereum, okay, I'm going to 80-20 it, which means I'm going to sell 80%, in this case, 80, and I'm going to hold on for 20. I'm not going to sell these. And this is for all my cryptocurrency. There is at some point where I say to myself, okay, I need to hold on because you don't know if it's going to go to like not only to the moon, but to Mars and Jupiter and beyond. So you have to hold on for some because you never know when that moon shot, that Mars shot, that Jupiter shot is coming. So hold on to them. So for this example, it's very easy, 80-20. I'm going to sell 80 of my Ethereum and I'll hold on for 20 for this cycle, for this 4-year cycle. In 2025, I mean, I'll still be around. I'll still be on this channel. And I'll tell you what my predictions are there, but this is what I want to go for. So I got to take a look at the probability. 8. So I believe this is going to actually hit to 10,000. That is my prediction for Ethereum. I think it's going to go to 10K. Some people will say, 5K. Some people will say 30K. I think it's around 10K. I think it's a pretty reasonable expectation for what Ethereum could potentially do. So if my probability is pretty high, I'm going to skew this to a higher number. And I'll make an example of that for EOS in a bit. So what I did was I just say, okay, I'm going to sell in 5 points. I'm going to sell 80 of my Ethereum. And to make that simple, 5 divided by 80 is 16. So 16 plus 16, 32. 32 plus 16 is 48. 48 plus 16 is 64, and 64 plus 16 is 80. So at some point, you're going to sell all of your Ethereum, or 80%, 80-20 rule. You're going to sell 80, and you're going to hold on to 20. Sell 80, hold on to 20. This is the 80-20 rule. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to pick some price points. Now, if I think it's going to go to 10,000, I always work my way back. So if I say, okay, I know it's going to be 10,000, I want to skewer this to a higher number. I don't want to sell it at 10,000 at the very last part, and then maybe put down like 3,000 here, 1,500 here, 1,000 here, and 900 there. That wouldn't make any sense because I feel it's going to go to 10,000, but I need to take profits along the way. And the reason why I need to do that is because of stuff like this. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the governments. We don't know what's going to happen with another pandemic. We just don't know what could potentially happen for this market and what could just drive it haywire. I mean, we've seen the history of what's going on, all these 4-year cycles, but what if something doesn't happen? Or what if we don't hit it? Or what if we hit a speed bump? So I need you to make sure that you take a look at this objectively and say, maybe I should look at this. Again, not financial advice. This is definitely what I'm going to do. So the very first price point I'm going to say is about 2,000, right? Which is going to be 20% of the 80, because I'm always going to do 5 points. 5 points seems like a pretty good, reasonable offer to me. So I got 16. So 16 times 2,000, I'm going to get $32,000. Pretty good. And there's a number right next to this. It's 1993. What am I talking about here? Well, the thing is that everybody likes round numbers. And a lot of times when you hit a solid round number, a lot of people sell. And when they start to sell, then you start to fluctuate down below that price point that you want to sell for. So instead of just going, I'm selling 2,000, try like 1876 or 1,993 like I have here, or 1,852, somewhere a little bit below that so you can get your orders filled so you can make sure you have it. So the next part I said, I'll do 5,000. So 5,000 times 16 is 80,000. The next part is, because I'm going to skew higher, 7,000. When he hits $7,000 times 16, that's $112,000. Not too bad. Then I'm going to hit 9,000 times 16, 144, and then I'm going to hit 10,000 times 16 is 160. You add all those up, 528,000. That is not bad for just holding on for 3.5 years. Sure, I'll take that. And again, I've only sold 80. I haven't sold them all because who knows, this could go to 15,000, 20,000, 27,000. Now, if it gets up to there, I might sell a little bit again, but I just want to worry about not leaving this bull run empty-handed. And the question I'm going to get is this: why not just hold your ETH all the way till it hits 10,000 if you're so sure, Rob? Well, guess what? I'm very sure it's going to happen. But again, who knows? There are a lot of variables. The older I get, the more that I realize I don't know everything. So I have to make sure that I play it the best way that I possibly know how. And here's the example. So we all thought in 2017 that Bitcoin, that 20,000 was just a stepping stone, and that was going to go to 25. Then to 30, then to 40, then to 50. And everybody was dancing in the street. They couldn't believe it. It was going to be so great. Even John McAfee told us going to $1 million. Institutions were here. They were going to do the CBOE and the CME. They were going to do the futures contract on Bitcoin. Oh, it was going to be the greatest thing of all time. Well, guess what happened? If you would have set your sell order at 20,000 and you want to sell all of it, well, guess what happened? You didn't hit it. You got to 19,665. And what did you see next? Boom. All the way down to 14,000. Then it went up a little bit. You're like, oh, it'll go back up. Boom, goes back down again. And off you go until it hit 5,000 and went sideways for the next 1.5 years. So it's up to you. I mean, again, whatever you want to do. But I can just tell you from experience, you need to take, or I'm going to need to take, profits along a step ladder type of way, because there is nothing worse than watching all of the gains that you thought that you had and all the plans that you thought just kind of wither away. So this is where we're going, 80-20. So when I talk about skew to a higher number, let's take a look at something like EOS. So EOS, in my prediction, again, I thought that, well, EOS could go all the way up to $30 from, let's see, EOS at that point was $3.40. I'm sure it's lower now because it's EOS. But I thought, yeah, okay, go to $30 because that's, the all-time high was around 29, somewhere around there. So I go, sure, it could happen. But I put it, the probability I put it as a 3 because there's really nothing going on. There's nothing much that you hear about. There's no type of press releases. I don't even know if anybody's been working on the EOS project, quite honestly. I know they tried to do something with a social media site called Voice. Didn't hear anything about it. So it just doesn't seem like it's really doing too much. So I put it at a very low probability to hit $30, especially with all the different projects that are going on right now. Could be wrong, hope I'm wrong, but this is where we're at. So if my probability is very low that it could hit $30, I want to skew my numbers on the lower side. So instead of going like 30, 28, then 26, then 20, I want to go, okay, how about this? Let's just hit $4. I'll be happy with $4. Then $6, then 10, then 14. And then if it gets 30, hey, great day, right? Again, 80-20 rule. I'm going to sell, if I have 300 EOS, I want to sell 80% of 300, which is 240. Then I want to hold on for 20 or 60 because you never know. It could go all the way up to 10 million. I have no idea. So again, same thing. I'm going to put a price point. This is just arbitrarily just picked. So I'm going to say $4. At $4, I'm going to sell 48. That's going to be $192. And then a couple dollars later, $6. I'm going to sell 48 again, $288. $10, 48, 480, 14, 48, 672, 30 times 48, 1440. For a grand whopping total of 4512. Hey, it is what it is. And again, question comes up, Rob, why don't you just hold till 30? Again, what I talked about with Bitcoin. I am not in that position. I do not want to do that. You're welcome to do whatever you can, whatever you want to do. This is just what I feel like I should do. Next one, and I'm only going to go over a couple more, and I'll explain why in a second. So this is Chainlink. So I felt like Chainlink, I feel, could go to at least $35. It's a very low prediction, but again, conservative numbers. But again, people think that Chainlink's going to $250, and sure it could, but did we ever think that we would ever see? I remember hearing people going, we're never going to see Bitcoin below 30,000. Well, here we are again, so whatever. So the probability for this one was very high. I picked it at 9, I think at least 35. So I'm going to skew to the higher number. So I start with 35, then I just arbitrarily go, about 32, 30, 28, and 26. Because right now, I think it's like at $17. But when I did this price prediction, I think it was like over 21, 22, somewhere around there. So again, 26, I want to sell 80%. If I had 1,000 link, 80% would be 800 I'm going to sell, and I'm going to hold on to 200. Pretty simple, right? So again, if I want to divide that by 5, because there's always 5 price points of 800, that's 160. So 26 times 160, I got this. 28 times 160, I get this. $30 price point times 160, this, da-da-da-da. And I'm going to make $24,160. Not too shabby. And again, if you even ask me, there's it is. Why don't you hold your link till it hits 35? Again, Bitcoin. Speaking of which, there is one exception to every rule, and this is just the way it goes. Bitcoin, I just can't get it out of my mind. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's Michael Saylor and all the big institutions that are coming here and they're talking about like Bitcoin can go to, $1 million, 10 million. I don't know what it is, but I just can't give it up that easily. But I'm going to sell half. I'm going to sell half, and what am I going to sell it? On my price prediction. I believe it's going to 150,000. Could go higher. Hope I'm wrong. But I'm always going to never sell everything. And I'm going to sell, in this example, I'm going to do a 50-50 split. 50% I'm going to hold on to, and 50% I'm going to sell. So if I had 2 Bitcoin in this example, I'm going to sell 1 whole Bitcoin. Again, I'm going to sell 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 on certain price points, and then I will cash out. So again, 60,000 times 0.2, that's what I think the next stop will be after we get through this dip, after maybe a month or so, who knows. That's $12,000, not bad. 80 times 0.2, 16,000. 110 times 0.2, 22,000. 130 times 20 times 0.2, 26. 150 times 0.2, 30, and add it all up, 106,000. So, which really, if you think about it, 106,000, or I could wait to sell 1 whole 150. I'm still okay with that. I'm still fine. So again, it all comes down to what you want to do. This is what my goals are and what I feel is best for me. This is not financial advice, but I have to remind everybody to keep your feet on the ground. And all these different sentiment that is out there, like, oh, you shouldn't sell anything, you got some weekends, and you can't sell nothing. I heard the same garbage in 2017. And guess what? I held my bags for 3 years. I'm not doing that again. You can do whatever you want to do. Lastly, I'll finish off with this. In every video from now on, in my description, there's going to be a link. And they used to look like this, exit strategies, and I had XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you could find those right there. What I want to do from now on is just put them all together. and it's going to, as you scroll down, it's going to look like this: exit strategies, all crypto exits. You're going to click on that. It's going to take you this handy dandy spreadsheet, and it's going to have every single one. So the ones we just talked about, these 4, are all right here, and you can take a look and do whatever you want with them. I will be adding every single one as far as my prediction over the next week, so you can always find that there. And also, before you ask me, don't try to edit them at all, because it's going to ask you for a password or something that this is from Google Spreadsheets. I have this set to where you can view it. Anybody on the web that has the link, which you have the link in the description, can view it. You can't edit these spreadsheets. I got, this video will probably get another, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 views. I can't have people editing it. So don't ask me to edit it, because you won't. It'll just be to view, and that is it. So you're welcome to say whatever you want to in the comment section, but that is what I have for right now. And I put this together just to be safe. Again, failing to plan, you are planning to fail, and we have just seen this in the volatility of this market. Now, you're welcome to do whatever you want to do. Everybody's got their different goals. These are my goals. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like these types of videos, I would ask you to subscribe and also hit the like button. Also, if you like any of these videos I do, there's going to be 2 minutes going to pop up on your left and right. Let YouTube do its magic. And that is it for today. So thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one.